This episode is brought to you by the National Campaign Against Drunk Driving. Drive sober or get pulled over. All right, I'm here halfway down the hallway where the Discovery Digital Network offices are. This is also where I announced that I was working here last year. So I thought it's a fitting place to put together what is my best of 2013 list. Just so you know, I'm alphabetizing this list except for my #1 pick of the year. It is alphabetized, it is not ordered. Additionally, as we've said in years past, it's not like one is that much better than another. That's one of the reasons I'm grouping all of these together. These games really stood out. I have 9 of them. I just couldn't have more, and I couldn't have less. These are games that just made me very excited, not for this year, but for the future of games altogether. And with that, let's start with my first, BioShock Infinite. Okay, BioShock Infinite. This has gotten a lot of acclaim and then a lot of criticism. I, for one, having played it a second time, just love this game. It's the way it looks. It's the sense of a well-articulated world that you're lost in. That sense of adventure and that very dark sense of playing with history. All of these things work together, and it's still just kind of a mind-boggling roller coaster ride that has depth and fun all at the same time.
Oh, this is wonderful! Oh, come dance with me, Mr. Twin.
I don't dance. Come on, let's go.
Why? What could be better than this?
All right, the next one is Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. This game from Starbreeze, this short little game that I think has been horribly mismarketed and should have been reaching a much larger audience, is just a phenomenal experience. It has a nice Fable setting. You play 2 young boys, and it's using a control scheme where you only control them with the 2 sticks that has not been accomplished, probably never effectively, but no one's even really tried this since the PlayStation 2's The Adventures of Cookies and Cream. What is probably most impressive about this game is that those controls in the final moments of this very quietly sad game, those controls take on a sense of narrative, which accomplishes something I have wanted to see so badly in a game, and I finally got to with this one. All right, Forza 5. Yeah, this one I didn't expect to go on my list. I've never been a huge fan of the racing genre. I've always dabbled in them, but this was the first time I got to sit down and play one of these games so in depth, and I'm really glad it was Forza 5. The drivatars, once again, it has been a point of controversy with some, but I love to see the AI not do things perfectly. I feel better about myself, and it gives a sense of adventure to the game. Additionally, looking at some of the things that really can be a barrier to entry in the racing sim genre, the resolution that you only try to get in the top 3, the middle 3, or the bottom 3 to get some money and to get to advance really turns this experience into something that is compulsive, addictive, and as I said before, harrowing when you're going 150 miles per hour. Grand Theft Auto 5. I love this game. I've always admired the Grand Theft Auto games, but this is the one that I fell into and had to see all the way to the end, not just because I was reviewing it. The use of 3 characters, in particular Trevor, which just might be one of the greatest creations of the past decade. I just love getting into it, experiencing the savage writing, which really exceeds everything that preceded it from Rockstar and especially from the other Grand Theft Auto games. And that core sense of fatigue with where Western civilization has come, it just showed the potential of the video game medium to do more than just make a good game.
Well, you know, as a matter of fact, I just did, just 10 minutes ago. Yeah, I saw her on the end of this penis here.
The Last of Us. This is one hell of a game. It was a dark, very, very difficult ride to be in this world, but the way in which it approaches violence, which is very, very extreme, was an effect I've never really seen in a game. I wanted to sneak, not because it was more effective, but because there was something chipping away at my moral center every time I took a brick and crushed somebody's head in. Add to that acting from an incredible cast that really made you care, made you want to see this thing through to the end. When you get to that ending, one of the most brilliant and devastating moments I've seen in games or any other entertainment this year.
That is a stupid idea.
Papers, Please. It's hard to imagine that a game that looks like this can have such an unsettling effect. playing a border guard in a mythical world that is based on the 1980s Soviet Union. You decide who gets through and who doesn't, with rules changing every day, and it's your efficiency that gets you the money to keep your family alive. It's a dark insight into what it is like to be trapped in a bureaucratic existence. And yes, many of us have worked in corporations, but it shows you just how bad it can get. Rayman Legends. This is how you design levels. This is how you animate a game. This has been woefully overlooked, being released late in August, but it really is an amazing platformer that I think has shown itself to be superior to the new Super Mario Brothers games. Every level might look the same and uses a very simple control scheme, but with changing goals, changing dynamics within the level, it keeps it fresh, it keeps it vital, and it's something I could not put down. The Stanley Parable. Okay, yes, I got to play a demo of this game that was personally designed for me, but nonetheless, when I got to the final version of the game, it's just a wonderfully fun, playful experience that really does harp on exactly how much existential prerogative we can choose to have in a life, or more importantly, in a game. Going through the cycles of the experience and never being able to replicate the same one is an astonishing act of design, but it really is something that's fun to go back to, and I still do every now and then, and just gets a little bit more thought going in my head.
Stanley went around. Stanley stepped into the Stanley just sat around. Stanley walked upstairs.
All right, those are my favorite games of the year, alphabetized, but there is one game I do want to separate from the group, which I want to declare my favorite game of 2013, because after playing it, I couldn't get it out of my head. And that game is Gone Home. This game, with a simple concept, a young lady in the 90s has returned home from traveling abroad to a house you're not familiar with and you don't know where your family is. That simple concept put me through a gauntlet of emotions, anxiety, fear, not knowing if I'm supposed to be there, the sense of being a snoop in a place where you're not welcome, and then eventually a melancholy as you start to put all these little facets of the story together to a conclusion that, if not devastating, is something that has haunted me since I finished the game. And this all is accomplished in one of the most wondrous acts of design. It all just takes place in this one home. And if any one aspect of that level design didn't work, it would bring down the whole game with it. The audacity of going for something like this with such a small but highly accomplished team is something that deserves so much praise and so much reward. And once again, no shooting, no violence, really no nothing. It's exactly what the storytelling potential of games has that no other medium is able to accomplish.
But they all know who I am. The Psycho House girl. Great.
All right, there you have it. I hope I haven't set too many fires this time. We are going to be doing an interview with Steve Gaynor of the Fulbright Company, the makers of Gone Home. It was a fascinating interview. Go play the game and then make sure that you watch this interview. It gave me some wonderful insight into my favorite game of the year. Additionally, go check out Tara Long, go check out Zach Miner, go check out Nick Robinson, and go check out Scott Bromley's list of their favorite games of 2013. All right, it's time to thank our sponsor. Obviously, this is the holiday season, which means all of us get to indulge a little more than we allow ourselves the rest of the year. And while that is a lot of fun, it does bring it a level of danger and responsibility by not getting behind the wheel if you've been drinking. From December 13th, 2013 through January 1st, 2014, state and local law enforcement will be out in force cracking down on drunk drivers. Bear this in mind. Getting arrested for drunk driving can cost you a lot more than an arrest and a fine. You can face legal fees, court costs, and the loss of your license and more. Too many people think, I've had a few drinks, but I'm okay to drive, or I only live a few minutes from here, or I've gotten away with this plenty of times before. They think like that right up until the moment they kill someone. And if you see an impaired driver on the road, contact law enforcement. Your actions may save someone's life, and inaction could cost someone one. So just bear this in mind. This holiday season, drive sober or you will get pulled over.